G'day, I'm just going to go through assessment task 1 from Talent, which looks at resource usage. It just isn't working as we hoped it would. So we're just going to look at implementing it a bit differently. So you might remember that for it, they need to analyse 3 resources. So what we're doing is we're going to change it to 1, but they need to cover it a bit more thoroughly. So, and we're also making it a bit more specific and giving a bit more direction to the task. Now, this task isn't part of the major talent project, so it's separate. So if we have a look, and this will be going on the LMS, it's not on, but Nick will be adding it tomorrow. So the assessment task in itself will start by talking about how important physical activity is. It improves our stress relief, energy levels, etc. Then I'm going to talk about all VFA learning campuses have a gym on site that students can access during breaks, etc. Exercise will benefit students from many courses, not just fitness, as it can assist them with their health and fitness, but also assist them to concentrate better in class. You are required to. And then we've got the various sections. So basically I'm saying fitness is important, health and wellbeing is important. We've got a resource there, which is the gym. We all know that getting in and exercising can really benefit people in regards to their concentration, especially for afternoon sessions and their health and wellbeing. So this is how we're going to look at trying to use that resource more effectively. I've also said note this task can be done in groups of 3. So if we look at section 1, part A is fairly straightforward. What is the capacity for the resource to be used? So again, you're going to be talking to the students about, okay, VFA is open for this amount of hours in a week. Okay, and so if it's open for 60 hours in a week, then there's 60 hours of availability for the gym to be used. How much is the resource currently being used? So the recommendation is going to be, okay, you work out how many times it's being used for class in a week, and you might find out it's being used for classes, 15 hours per week, which then leaves 45 hours a week for it to be used. So we're looking at current versus optimal use. That's the part there. So you're saying there's 60 hours available. It's used at the moment 15 hours by classes. It's also used every lunchtime by students, and it's not being used of a morning before class, and it's not being used of an afternoon after class, really. So you might say it's being used out of 20 hours out of 60, so that would be 33%. And then we look at alternative options for use. So we're saying that if it's used 33%, 66% is available, and what are some alternative options for usage to get usage up? So what you want to look at there is say, okay, it's not being used after hours. So from say 4 o'clock to 5:30 or whenever your campus closes. So is there a way to get more students to use it after class? Is there a way to get more students to use it during lunch? So again, you're going to look at, okay, at the moment there's only one person using it every lunchtime. Is there a way we can increase usage there? Is there a way we can get students to go in there for, say, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock or whenever your campus opens? So that might be one thing you're focusing on. The other one would be, alternatives for usage would be to say it's only used during class time, 15 hours a week. There's 30 hours where it's not being used. Is there an option for it to be used by other classes where on a really busy, stressful day, is it worth, say, the childcare students and the teacher speaking to the ACT, like Crystal or Trent or Aaron, saying, listen, can you take my childcare students in there for a 15 or 20-minute stretching session, for example? So there's the other option is that it might be used, students come in 2 or 3 days a week. They might want to come in on their 2 or 3 days off to use the gym if they get into exercise. So we're looking at alternative ways that that space can be used rather than just being used 33% of the time. So that's what's in section 1. Now you've got to develop a plan to optimize usage. So this has got to be done with your group. So I've already spoken about a few of the things, but what is your goal? How much are you looking to increase utilization by? So you might be looking to increase it by, and you set your goals there. You might want to say that it's being used during class time rather than 15 hours a week. You might want to lift it to being used in class time to 20 hours a week. You might want to say that At lunchtime, it goes from having an average of 2 people in there to having an average of 7 people using it. And from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, it goes from having 3 people to use it to 6 people use it. So you set your goals around that. And that generally during the day, that the timetable set up where the students know that on Thursday and Friday, for example, classes aren't on at VFA, the gym's not being used. So if you want to come in on your days off, you can use it there as well. Now, some of these things mightn't work out, but we're just trying to set goals at this stage. So again, what information did you consider when setting this goal? Again, you're going to be encouraged your students to think about things like this. You might be saying, okay, if it's only been used 15 hours of class time, you want to get it up to 20 hours. One, you need to consider, is Trent, Aaron, and Crystal got enough time to do that? Are teachers going to be willing to give up 15 to 20 minutes of their class time to say, okay, we're going to break and we're going to go into the gym? Park queues and things need to be done. Someone's going to need to get those park queues done. This is just some examples of setting this goal and trying to get the numbers up. You might be saying there's a couple of days a week where the gym's not really being used during class time. Encourage students to come in on their non-classroom days. Some of them might live too far away. They might be passing 5 gyms in the process. So again, the students just need to brainstorm that. So why do you think this goal is realistic? So again, hoping they've set a realistic goal. Okay, outline the strategies you wish to implement to achieve your goal, the plan. So as part of this, they need to try and find a way to increase usage. So based upon my recommendations, they'd be trying to talk to the ACT to say, listen, the ACT, can you sit down with your other teachers and see whether there's any interest in them using it during class time for a bit of a exercise break for their students? But in regards to increasing numbers after hours and during lunch breaks, it's really about promoting it to the students that it's there. Hear the benefits of exercise. Why don't you use it? So you're going to have to put some strategies in place to increase usage. So that might be talking to, say, Cherie about using social media. It might be about putting some pamphlets and posters up. Just letting the teachers know, to let their classes know that it's there as an option. And a big part of it is you're going to be talking about the benefits of getting in and doing some exercise and how it can give you a good break on your lunch, to a good brain break. How will the organisation and individuals within it benefit from the improved resource usage? So we're talking about the organisation being VFA. The benefits are going to be that if the students are using the gym, they're going to be more likely to be rested up. They're going to be healthier, so they're less likely to miss days. If they can concentrate better in the afternoon because they've exercised, they're going to be better at their assessment tasks. They're going to be more switched on, so they're going to get better outcomes from classes. They're the things they're going to talk about there. And the next one is establish the plan for implementation. So you must participate in a meeting with your supervisor and 2 to 3 other groups to discuss the information you've collected in section 1 and the plan you have put together in section 2. So where I got to there is, while I think this works really well, the challenge is that, okay, you've got a group of 3 students looking at a resource, which is a gym, because there's only one resource, and you're going to have some different groups doing it. It's going to be really hard to implement. So I thought we would run it this way, in that the groups then meet and the teacher helps facilitate it. So you might have the 3 groups of 4, they all meet with the teacher facilitating, and they all present their plans that they've come in up to promote better participation in the gym. And as part of that, then they negotiate and they collaborate, and then they come up with the second plan, which is like a collaboration of everyone's different ideas and what they think is going to work best. Okay, but as you can see here, note some aspect of each group's plan must be included in the final plan for implementation. So you can't have all the ideas come from one group and none come from another group. So there needs to be some ideas implemented from each group. So if I look at the template for part 3, as you can see, outline the collaboration process. So collaboration is a big skill for them to learn, even right from primary school, secondary school. That's the key word at the moment, collaboration. So they talk about how it all went, summarise the key components of the plan. So this is not your plan for this part. This is, again, the collaborated plan. So what's the final plan that's going to be implemented at the VFA to try and get more kids participating in the gym, and outline the aspects of the final plan that were part of your original plan. So again, this is part where there needs to be something that comes from their group's original plan. So that's going to be that assessment task, and then there's going to be section 4, which this section 4 is going to be part of assessment task 2, and it's very similar to what it was. How did you monitor the success of the plan and the implementation? How was your plan promoted? Was the plan successful in increasing efficient resource usage? Reflect on the result. Did any additional costs present during the project? So again, it might be a direct cost, but fairly indirect that, yeah, we needed to, because things that are going to come up during, for example, is you're going to probably need to use some of like social media guys' time to promote it. You're going to have to, as a teacher, try and organise that. So it's more going to be about the time of staff at VFA to help make this successful. It's going to be often difficult for the students to monitor how much the gym's going to be used. So you're going to rely on the receptionist, one, to look at, okay, from when they get in, how much is gym being used, and from 4 to 5 o'clock over that period, how much is gym being used, how many people were in there at lunchtime. So someone's going to have to track that to get that measurement to start with. So that's what you're going to talk about with the costs. And if you end up saying, okay, it actually took longer for the receptionist than we thought, that's when you're going to talk about the additional costs. What feedback did you receive from either participants or the supervisor? So what feedback did you receive about the project? That was really good. We got more people in the gym and people found it rewarding. What changes would you make to the plan to make it more effective? So they were part of the original project. So again, the original project had 3 resources. Now it's just 1, but we're really tying it into the gym. So see how this checklist has still got 3 resources? That will change. So that's how we intend to run that. So it needs to be something that's really, the students are given some real structure from you to make it work. As I said, it's going to be assessment task 1 is going to be the planning it all. Assessment task 2 is going to be the review as to how it went. So let me know what your thoughts are. We're going to then have to build it into some classes. Emily's given us some options around session 38 and session 42, where in 38 they originally do their plan, where they might do it on butcher paper. And then session 42, they have to then have their second meeting where they plan it as a group. But obviously in between times, you're going to have to have a week where you try and work out how much it's being used. And then later, then after you put the plan together, there needs to be a week where you then analyse how much more effectively it's being used. So this needs to be probably spread out over a few weeks. So any questions at this stage, let me know. Again, it might seem a little complex, but I think once we get it down, as long as everyone's on the right page and we give the students enough direction, it should be a bit easier than what it was.